you know things are bad when Steve Bannon is interviewing Mike Flynn again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, QAnon acolyte, Knight of the High Order of the Dipshit, Mike Flynn, who took an oath to QAnon over his oath to the United States. He goes, "This is a level of devastation not seen since World War II." This is the same rhetoric everybody seems to be using, and it's very odd.
Donald Trump is about to cement his status as the greatest president in history when he releases the United States hidden.
Wait, is this Bannon without his wig? Sorry.
Here's how you can get the closest and fastest shave ever. Meet the Baldy Pro. This head and face shaver
what am I watching?
10,000.
Go away.
We've got about 2.5 minutes for a short intro, and then we'll dive into the weeds. But give us your 2.5-minute overview of what's going on overnight, and we'll come back to you for to get in the weeds a little bit. Thanks, General.
Yeah, very briefly, this war is going to go on in the Middle East for at least another 2 weeks. You're going to see a level of devastation that we have not seen probably historically in many people's lives, probably since World War II.
I got to say, I'm going to kind of go with bullshit just because of the size of the cities and the places we're talking about. I don't think Israel is going to level Tehran. There's not the same kind of... it's not the same. There aren't tunnels under the place that they have to go after. They're seeking other sites, most of them outside of cities. Israel's so small compared, it's the size of New Jersey. So if Iran, hit it really hard, it wouldn't be bigger than the stuff we've seen in Ukraine, but he doesn't give a shit about Ukraine. So.
And this is regime change time. Israelis are done. And I don't blame them. We need a benevolent leader inside of Iran to rise up. We don't need somebody flying in from Paris who's been making billions off the backs of other people. We need somebody from inside the regime, and we need the CIA the hell out of there.
Right. And what do you see? The
what is this show? One dude's driving, the other guy looks like he snuck into somebody's office and is using their webcam.
Better than anyone. What's the probability of those events occurring? Getting a better secular leader who's not at war with us?
Yeah, I think it's very high, actually. I think that there's some people that are identified. It is the most important thing is, at what point in time does Israel make the decision? And they are hunting right now. They are definitely, the guys on the ground are hunting for the leadership they've devastated the leadership.
All right, he's playing music in the background. I'm going to get a fucking copyright strike from this dipshit.
The Israelis need whatever they...
Is this just playing in his car?
Whatever capabilities they need, because this thing is really the Obama... They've had years, so Israel showed massive...
I like being Christian man, the value... And I've gotten to know Mike over the years somewhat, and everything I hear about him, he's just a fine Christian man. The values and virtues, when you're putting men's lives at risk, I want him in charge. I know he cares about God's will, and so.
Yeah, he's got all the religious piety of Martin Sheen in the Dead Zone.
So, Mike, thanks for being.
The missiles are away. Hallelujah.
On with us today. I'm down in Dallas representing Liberty Day down at the Tower Club from 1 to 4.
I was kidding, but he's literally just like using somebody's office.
Business friends. So at the last minute, if you want to stop by, CEOs and business friends, pop on by. From here on out, all political views are my own. General Flynn, give the folks your bona fides, your rise up, how high in the military, and then your intelligence, so people know what they're hearing and who they're hearing it from.
Yeah, I've served almost 3.5 decades in the world of intelligence, special operations, airborne, 5 years in combat operations, served operationally for the majority of my life.
And became a traitor to the United States and supported the January 6th insurrection and took an oath to QAnon. So how far the mighty have fallen?
Served almost 2 decades at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the home of Special Operations and Airborne Forces, and served on 6 continents, many different wars, Central America, Caribbean, Southwest Asia, Central Asia. So I got a lot of time from company battalion all the way up to serving as the highest, most senior military intelligence officer in the Department of Defense and running one of the largest intelligence agencies in the world.
Right. So by all those markers, the Alex Joneses of the world would tell us to disregard anything you say as an obvious psyop.
Certainly here in the United States of America. So got a lot of time. I spent a lot of years in the Middle East, particularly.
And then some in prison.
Focused on this problem set that we are now, watching unravel, if you will, in Iran. So a couple of things that I would just offer for your viewers. We are seeing an exquisite level of intelligence operations by the nation of Israel. It's just extreme.
I'm so glad we listened to all your shit just so that you could lay that on us.
Extraordinary to me. This is
Why don't you just say super duper?
Definitely a warning. This is a warning to any other adversary in that region who feels like they want to take a shot at Israel. There's one thing that the Israelis have is they have incredible levels of very detailed, very tactical, very refined intelligence, because the targets that they are hitting and the precision that they're hitting those targets. And I'm talking about people, command and control, air defense, all the different battlefield operating systems that you have to take out in order to, in this case, to destroy the capability of the military and intelligence and security capabilities of a nation.
It's so great that they can bring out this treasonous felon just so you can hear the same shit that you might hear when they pull a general on CNN doing a segment. It's thanks to the War Room for just scraping the bottom of the barrel to give you basically the same junk you'll hear anywhere else.
The Israelis have done quite a bit of it in just a period of about 48 hours. We are going to see this continue. And again, this is a warning to anybody else in the region. I've already seen where the Hezbollah.
Yeah, Gary, if you're in the region right now, okay, consider yourself on notice. I know you're like, I'm just flying through. Bullshit, Gary. You're in the region. It's a warning. Okay? Fucking Gary.
Response has been nullified because they know the other countries in the region that have put out statements condemning this attack. They know they don't want to say it, Dave. They don't want to say it out loud, but they actually are applauding this attack because Iran has been nothing but a sore spot on the rear end of this particular region of the world. We cannot continue to have the spew that comes out of
the spew. Thank you. I'm glad. Again, if this gets too technical for anybody, let me know. I'll find a thesaurus without too much spew on it.
Iran and out of people like the Ayatollah, who's talking about the annihilation of not only the state of Israel, but also the United States of America. I applaud President Trump for how.
Oh my God. It did. And by the way, was it the fact that Steve Bannon wouldn't be on there that was why they got like the okay? That's why that guy said, from this point on, it's my opinion. The reason is because Bannon's against this and it's his show. It's the War Room, so they're afraid they'll catch shit. Let's see. Israel attacks Iran. This is the. I'm going to check in on some of the live stuff, shut it. Okay. Hold on. This is somebody that used to get the I guess appreciate the illusion of left-wing support because they didn't realize what a shitheel he was and effectively again delivery system for Edward Snowden to spend his dying days in Russia via China. Glenn Greenwald, the guy who takes whistleblowers and instead of taking them through the court process and going, hey, we're going to stand right by you, and if you go to prison for this, it was for a good cause, and one day people will know you're the hero you are. Nope, he's going to put you on a fucking plane, fly you to China with 2 laptops, and then fly you to Russia and go, oops, we missed our connecting flight. I guess you're going to have to stay here forever. Oh, that was the point the whole time? Anyways, so this is...
exclusively here on Rumble, the free speech alternative to YouTube. Today's most important...
You know why there's free speech on Rumble? Is because no one's listening, so you can't get in trouble. You know?
News is obvious. Israel last night launched a major military assault.
Is your microphone broke? His mic's broken. Where by the way, look at the picture of Trump he chose. Is this plane landing on his fucking head? All I'm hearing is room noise. All that gear. Look at that big shiny tablet he gets to control the show from. And yeah, I'm jealous. I want all that gear, but I'll at least my shit works.
On Iran targeting residential buildings in
when it works. My shit always works sometimes.
Iran, where military commanders and nuclear physicists live with their families, as well as bombing multiple nuclear facilities throughout the country. Triumphalist rhetoric flooded American and Israeli discourse almost immediately.
Triumphalist?
Until just a little bit ago, when a barrage of Iran's ballistic and hypersonic missiles began hitting Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and other major population centers. Escalation seems virtually inevitable at this point. The question of the level of escalation, always the most dangerous question when a new war is...
I think it'd be the most dangerous answer, wouldn't it? It's not like you're going to cause escalation by asking about escalation. Stupid.
Started is most certainly yet to be determined. Then there's the question of the role of the United States and President Trump in all of this. News report.
And I also don't want you to think I mind, but is there a reason you're so far away? Usually this is like the opening shot and then you cut and turn to something on a reel. Did everybody quit? Everybody quit, didn't they? After the porn stuff came out, after the videos of you having sex came out. You guys know about that? Sorry. And again, we're not here to yuck anybody's yum, but yeah, Daily Caller. This is they're not kind of sparing him anything. This just happened, in May. Independent journalist Glenn Greenwald falls victim to leak of sexually explicit video. Last night, videos were released online depicting behavior in my private life. Some were distorted and others were not. They were published without my knowledge or consent. This publication is therefore criminal. I agree. It's not. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. It's up to you or whatever. But this is, again, if you're on our side of the aisle, you tend not to run into a wall about this stuff. On his side of the aisle, he's a gay man with a husband. He lives in Brazil because fuck America, apparently. And the right wing has grabbed onto him mainly because they're fellow travelers on a couple of issues. One widely circulated video depicts Greenwald, an openly gay man, dressed scantily in women's clothing. On his knees, a man speaking Portuguese verbally degrades him and then demands Greenwald send him 10,000 Brazilian real, which is nearly $1,800. Greenwald complies, and the video shows him sending the money via PayPal. As for the content of the videos, I'm not embarrassed or regretful about. Who cares? Prostitution is legal. The only wrongdoing here is the criminal and malicious publication of the videos. It won't change my work. It just gives him a new angle to continue working. I wish there was a way I could adequately express just how monstrously tyrannical Brazil's chief censorship judge has become. He's banned on X from Brazil and ordered critics imprisoned. Well, then why do you live there? He's also highly critical of U.S. military intelligence community and in recent years has spoken ardently against Israel's ongoing campaign in Gaza. For the record, Brazil is worse with free speech, certainly, and more draconian in their hate speech laws and stuff than the United States is, by far. They're also they have a huge history of being puppeted by China and all the baggage that goes with this. But who gives a shit? Anyways, so Glenn just went through this in case you guys are wondering. Maybe that's why they're staying wide in this shot.
Reports from both the U.S. and Israeli media suggest this morning that Trump was working hand in hand with the Israelis to pretend that he was still optimistic about a diplomatic resolution with Tehran, but did so only as a ruse to convince the Iranians.
I'm hearing the reshaping of that language in the Axios article everywhere. Glenn Greenwald said it, Glenn Beck has said it. Maybe it's just a Glenn thing.
That Trump intended to restrain Israel and thus lure Iran into a false sense of security when, in fact, Trump was not only greenlighting the attack, but actively working with the Israelis to launch it. President Trump's own statements today proudly boasting of the success of the attack, along with his own concrete actions such as ordering U.S. military assets into position to yet again defend Israel, strongly bolster those reports and clearly indicate a direct U.S. involvement in this war between Israel and Iran.
Well, no, the strongly indicate part is a matter of opinion. And again, I think the people around him are doing these things because they knew Israel was going to do this. Like the idea that he's somehow part mastermind in this, I think you're giving him too much credit. I mean, look at him. Wait, why is this playing?
A U.S. involvement that already exists and will almost certainly continue to grow over the next few days and perhaps few weeks and even months. We'll examine,
or even years, or perhaps even on a biannual basis,
all the latest developments, as well as speak to the American-Iranian professor Mohammad Morandi, who is in Tehran, obviously heard and witnessed a lot of what happened in Tehran, but also has some unique analysis from his role as an American-Iranian scholar of foreign policy. We will then speak with two scholars from the Cato Institute, one of the very few think tanks in the United States which has long counseled restraint and non-interventionism in U.S. foreign policy, Justin Logan and John.
Yeah, so you're going to, sorry, when is the round of applause for Obama for actually having a deal in the first place and you going, I was an asshole to support Trump in any way possible because he's the one who scuttled the deal that we had and it inexorably led exactly to where we find ourselves today, just like the elimination of the cops program brought about the death of George Floyd at the hands of Derek Chauvin and others, and of course the end of the pandemic response team 2 years to the day before we had a giant fucking pandemic that everybody saw coming. I'm sick of these guys. I'm so fucking tired of these guys who are like, and it's again, it's America. Now that Trump's in office, it's America. When Biden's in office, it's Biden. When Obama's in office, it's Obama. When Harris is running, it's gonna be Harris. But when Trump is in office, America is doing something. No matter how many of us are standing up, they're gonna be fucking the biggest marches this weekend that we have seen since the Women's March. When Trump ran the first time, happening repeatedly over weekends, like again and again in this country, and yet somehow it's the U.S. that's doing this. He also talks that way about during the Iraq War, the beginning of the Iraq War under Bush, with total disrespect for all of us that actually marched against that shit. It was America then. When Obama, again, came in, now Obama's doing these things. When it's a Republican, America's doing it. Maybe they buy into this Huckabee, like the real Bubba idea, that only Republicans are real Americans.